Yes, yes, yes. It's all about, no, it is not all about us. It's not all about you. It's all about Christ. If you really think about what's going on around you with the politics, with the government way of trying to run things, and now they've got puppets, people who they have manipulated, and people who are not willing to do their research, are being controlled mentally by the agenda. If we're not following Christ like we should be, then you're actually going to be falling for the agenda. And you might be against it now, but eventually they're going to get a hold of your brain and they will have control over you. We need to plant the whole armor of God upon us. God has already implanted His Word in us, but we still need to be reading the Word, because there's just something about reading it also that just makes things come alive. It puts us in a whole different realm of life. So if you're not reading the Word on a regular basis, then maybe you need to analyze your life on how you're living it and how easy it is for sin to seek in. Because it is. Now, Satan's not going to give up on you just because you start reading the Word. He's actually going to put more pressure on you to get you away from the Word. He wants you away from other believers. Shut the churches down. We got this virus thing going on. Oh, it's okay if you go out there and protest. Yeah, it's fine for that. What is that telling us? We need to congregate together. We need to be uplifting each other. We need to be there for each other. We need to be helping each other. When somebody's spouse passes away, you want to be there for that person. You want to make sure they're okay, especially after their family members leave, which normally is the same day, if not the next day. Then where are they at? Well, they need to grieve, but they also need a friend. They need somebody to check on them. Are we doing that? Or somebody lost their job. It tells us in the Word that we need to be there for other believers, other Christians, before anyone else. Now, we need to be witnesses to unbelievers. And sure, it's not going to hurt to help other believers. But if we have a believer who is struggling, barely making it, because they lost a spouse, or they lost their job, or they lost one of their kids, it could be many things. We as other believers, and it tells us in the Word, we need to be there for them before we are these over here. And they're going to see from the outside in that we are there for each other. We are there helping each other. We are there uplifting each other. They see the love that we have for each other. That will draw those who seek that in. You get some, the walls built up so high, they can't knock it down, and we can't knock it down from our end. Only Christ can knock it down, but they have to be willing to listen. They have to be willing to open their minds and their heart. So as believers, I understand what the Word is saying when it says we need to be there for each other. for our other believers, our other people who are walking in Christ's footsteps. We need to be there for them. We need to be there for each other before we're here for these. If we have, let's say we have a believer who is struggling, they just lost their job, they're needing some food, and we have some extra food. But then we see somebody over here, a few doors down, that is struggling, they lost their job. You're gonna think, well, why not just split it? Well, you can. And as much as it may sound crude that we don't give it to them because we have a family member here, might not be immediate family, but I'm talking family member as in Christ followers, we're to help them first because we don't want them to be so discouraged that they end up over there because they do something not so smart in order to feed the family. And then they start giving up because Satan is bombarding them. Satan's already got them. Satan's bombarding them to get them over there. That's why we need to take care of our own people first. To keep them strong in Christ. To keep the area around them protected. To keep Satan out. Are we doing that? I would tend to guess to say no, for the most part. Now, I'm sure there are a few of you that are saying, well, yeah, I do that. Don't change. Because we need people like that. We need people like you that are doing that. But for those that are not doing that, and you'll think, well, he's a believer, God's going to take care of him. I'm going to go ahead and give it to the person down here, hoping that that will encourage them. You're feeding them for that moment. And we're throwing them out to the dogs because it might be you that God is saying, feed them. You have this. I gave that to you so you could take care of them knowing that it was coming. But we're telling God, you take care of them. I'm going to go feed it to these people. Is that right? Those people, if they see you giving it to them instead of them, they're going to think, well, I want to be a part of that team because they take care of each other. And it might take a bit because Satan's going to see, oh, they're thinking about, no, I can't have that. And Satan's going to work on them. So we can be there to witness to them. But the more they see Satan working on them, if they truly want to be a part of this group and become a believer and a follower, they will start asking you questions on how they can transfer over and get to know Christ well enough so Christ knows them. Now they're part of our team. They'll be part of the ones that go to heaven. And it's because we took care of our own first. Just like it says in the Word. If you don't believe it, seek it, and you shall find it.